That good thumbnail? Is that going to be the thumbnail? That might be the thumbnail. In this video, I'm going to show you how I shoot street photography POV videos and how you can do the exact same thing on a relatively small budget. You don't have to buy a Leica. What's happening, folks? In today's video, I wanted to run you through my street photography POV setup slash what I might recommend if you were thinking about starting a POV type video channel thing yourself. So obviously the first thing that you're going to need is a camera. Literally any camera will do. You do not need to use the same camera as other people. To be honest, if you don't even have a camera, you could start with your phone and it would be just fine. It will get you by. In fact, some people do amazing work with just their phone. The camera I currently use is a Leica M262. I don't recommend it to anybody. It's my favorite camera that I've had, but it's not practical at all. And if you were looking to buy a camera, I would be recommending something like a Fujifilm X-T2 or X-T20, something to get started. XE2 or XE3 is a good place to start as well. Or if you were a fixed lens type person and you knew you were just going to shoot 35mm, Fujifilm X100V you can't go wrong with that. And for sure, what I would say is if you're not making money from photography, don't spend an absolute fortune on your camera. There are plenty of older generation cameras that professionals used to use that can get you professional results, get you fantastic results without you having to spend a fortune on the newest gear. I know people love to have IBIS, but it is not that important. 99.9% of great street photography has never had IBIS in it at all. So don't overthink it, get a camera that you can afford that's a few generations older. The next thing that you're going to want is an action camera or some sort of camera to film your POV footage. What I use is a GoPro Hero 8 Black. It's a few years old now, but I started off with the GoPro Hero 3 Silver, which had like no stabilization or anything. I made do for as long as I could, but after a while it just became unwatchable for a lot of people. So I traded it in, got one of these, relatively cheap. I think the newer one was coming out at the time. And other than the battery dying occasionally, it has never really let me down. I have 3 batteries for it. Usually I go through 2 on an afternoon of shooting. If I'm out for a long day, I might go into the 3rd battery. And I know someone who had a lot of problems with his GoPro. As a result, I have never once updated this since I've got it because it's still been reliable. But there's plenty of other action cameras out there. There's the Osmo Action, there's the little mini Osmo one as well, the newer one. There's like Instax 360s, or not Instax, Insta 360s, something like that. Whatever you can afford, don't feel like you have to get the newest model. A couple generations old is perfectly usable. Now once you've got your action camera, you also need a way to mount it. And one way to do it is to put it on top of your camera. But then if you're tilting the camera or anything like that, unless you've got a 360 type software that keeps the horizon straight, that could be a bit of a pain. And you can also get GoPro things that will clip onto like your backpack or something like that. I find that to be a little unstable as well, so I didn't really like that. So what I have is this metal thing. I don't remember the name of it. I'll put it down in the description. And once your camera is mounted to it, and how this works is it's got 4 real strong magnets on each corner, and it just separates like that. And I wear this around my neck, tighten it up so that it sits where I want it to on my chest, and then I'll hide this, I'll try not to hit the microphone, under my shirt, and then it clips on to my shirt like that. Usually I'll wear something darker, or I have a sling bag that goes across and then it'll sort of like blend in with that a little bit. Right now it sticks out a little bit, but this is it, and it's very stable. It sticks on there pretty well. You have to really pull it to get it off. And then if I go into a store or something, it left a little mark on this jumper, but whatever. If I go into a store or something, I just take it off, put it in my pocket, and then I look more like a normal person again. So those are the bare minimum things that you need, but I like to have some kind of bag to carry extra batteries and a couple things, but I don't like to have a big bag. I used to have a backpack because that was all that I had, and it would just be empty and it would have like some water in it, maybe a snack. So I ended up getting this sling bag. This is from Moment. I don't know if they still make them or not, but it's just big enough to hold a few extra batteries, some cash, cards, car keys, all that sort of stuff. It can go in there, and then I don't need to have it all in my pockets. And if I get a bottle of water or something, these little clips are useful because I can just open them up, put the water in there, and then sort of tie it to the bottom of the bag. And try not to mess with the microphone again. And then the GoPro will clip on, kind of like that. I feel like I've got it in the wrong position. Something happened here. And then I'll just clip the GoPro over the straps like that, so it's a little bit more subtle than if it was just on my shirt. But either way, it seems to work for me, and this is how I will look when I'm out shooting street photography. Just small bag, GoPro, camera. Now, if you were wanting to get a little bit more elaborate and do like this talking head type stuff that I do, I like to make sure that I've got good, clean audio for this part of the video, especially for the voiceover stuff. So I have this thing here that I'm recording on right now. It's a Zoom H1N handy recorder. It's the smaller and cheaper version of their external recorders that they have, but it does the job. And I have this Rode lav mic. I would recommend a decent lav mic because I did have a cheap one and it had a battery, and sometimes the battery would die and eventually it just stopped working, and it was like 30 bucks. Whereas the Rode one's like 70 bucks, 80 bucks maybe, and it's just much better. It's been great. So if you are gonna go the external audio route, I would say get something half decent, but you know, if you're on a budget, by all means get the cheaper stuff. It'll at least get you started, especially when you're not making any money from street photography or videos yet. Now the next thing I'm using, because this Leica does not shoot any video, I'm using a Canon EOS R6 with a 24-70 f2.8 lens on it, and that's not because I think that you need to spend that kind of money to get a video to just do talking head things. It's because I'm also a wedding photographer and I use this setup when I'm shooting weddings, so it was just nice that I could use this for this part of the video. But if you buy a Fujifilm X-T2 or a Fujifilm X Pro 2 or whatever it is, you can absolutely shoot video with that camera. And I actually used to shoot this section of the videos with the Fujifilm X Pro 2, and all I did was set it up in this spot, and I got my wife's like standing mirror and I put it behind the camera so that I could see the screen. And then I knew that way that it was still recording and I could vaguely see if I was framed well or exposed properly. And that worked well for me for months. I never had a camera with a flip out screen until I had the EOS R6. That was the first time. And to be honest, I don't even really look at that screen all that much, except from at the start when I'm figuring out if the exposure and framing and stuff is correct. I should also give credit where credit's due that I did not find this product, this magnetic product myself. Someone commented saying to try this thing out. It's been by far the best GoPro mount purchase that I've made. So thank you for that, whoever it was. So thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. There's something about this little focus tab that is so extremely satisfying. I also like that it's got grips on the side, so if you prefer to pinch rather than have your finger in a hole. That's not going in the video.